good afternoon, good morning, or good evening. I don't. It depends on when you are consuming this, when you're watching this. So, either way, how you doing? I'm Matt Mascarenas. Welcome back to another episode of Ball Sports right here on e5280sports.com is where you can get all of the great stuff that we put out. Blogs, articles, shows like this, podcasts, all kinds of things. Speaking of podcasts, another way you can consume that is Spotify is a good way. iTunes is a good way. I feel like we're on a lot of that stuff, but either way, go find us, go check us out on those deals as well. If you want to get at the show, if you want to get at me in particular, you can do that by following me on X/Twitter. I don't know, like, again, what do we call it? Do we call it Twitter? Do we call it X? Either way, you can follow me at Matt Mascarenas1. You can follow the show or the at 5280 Sports Radio. And if you are on Instagram, you can follow me at House Dad Matt and 5280 Sports Radio also on Instagram as well. I think that's it. That's it on all that good stuff. But just you can basically get everything that we have, everything that we put out, e5280sports.com. We do also have a YouTube channel too as well. All these shows will go out there. This is probably on YouTube as well, this show right now. So anyway, a lot of ways to consume our stuff, a lot of ways to watch, a lot of ways to take in, a lot of good articles coming out and blogs. There's a new MMA kind of UFC mixed martial arts article that's out, and some good football articles. So a lot of good stuff over there. Go check it out. And like I said, just a bunch of stuff over there. A lot of good stuff. Anyway, today's show, we wrap up the weekend, the first NFL playoff weekend, as we had Pittsburgh and Buffalo finish off on Monday. They were finally able to get the game in after all the weather, the cold, the snow, and everything. And it looked pretty gnarly. It did. I saw some videos and some pictures of the people that were actually like driving to the stadium, and that looked like a nightmare. You had Stefon Diggs. I thought I had this pulled up. I'm actually looking for it and I can't find it, but you had Stefon Diggs. My gosh, I don't know if hopefully I can find it maybe by the end of the show, or that's what will be the anyway. Well, I'll figure it out to get that picture in here, because it's so funny. Stefon Diggs is wearing a freaking sweater going into the game that looked like he was in a Busta Rhymes, one of those old Busta Rhymes, Missy Elliott, her those videos, where they're kind of like walking like I'm horrible at that. Like I didn't feel it. I didn't feel that. That's why it looks stupid, because I didn't feel it. So anyway, horrible. You'll see the sweater some way. In some way, somehow you'll see the sweater as a part of the show. But anyway, let's just get into that. You had Pittsburgh, Buffalo. And that game went like I pretty much thought it would, even though it was a one-score game there in the fourth quarter with opportunities for Pittsburgh. But I pretty much anticipated that game being a quote-unquote one-sided game, I guess you can say. Even though the score would look at it as it was, I don't know. I never, the way I look at it in going into that game is I never felt like Pittsburgh had a chance to win the game. And there was never a point in the game where I felt like Pittsburgh had a chance to win the game. So that's why I feel like it was a one-sided football game. And I mean, yes, Pittsburgh was there with an opportunity, but I never really felt like they were going to take advantage of that opportunity. I never felt like it was going to happen. So And that's what I got in that game. I was in and out of that game. I was watching. I think I watched most of the first quarter, but the second half was mostly listened to in earbuds as I was outside shoveling with my sons. Who it was time to get those freaking kids out of the house. That's all I got to say. It was Martin Luther King Day. It was snow. It was the worst day of our. I remember I did the show that day and I was talking about it. It was probably the worst day that we of the past 4 or 5 days of this kind of weather, this cold front, whatever the heck you call it, that is swept over the country. And we really couldn't. We had plans to do things in Martin Luther King. We get out, whatever, but we really couldn't because of the wind chill. Being cold outside is one thing, but the wind chill is the thing that it's hard to keep the boys, the kids. If you have kids, you kind of understand what I'm talking about, especially like, you know, the 5, 6 year olds that are just figuring out how to understand how to put the things like my son he'll stay out there until his hands are blue and we have to watch him because he loves being outside, and he'll come in. My hands are cold and they're like almost frozen. So um we finally got them out. So I was listening to the game in my ears. So there were some things I kind of missed. It was kind of the most exciting. I did watch the fourth quarter. So, but it was, like I said, it looked like what I thought it was going to be. It really did. And Josh Allen, man, and it was funny on Twitter or X how, if you follow that on social media, that's one of my things to do is, along with the game, and this is why you should follow me on at Matt Mascarenas 1 on X or Twitter, and follow the station too as well. But that I like to watch and see how everybody's reacting to what's going on. And it really got crazy again and poor, Broncos country's catching strays through the whole weekend. I felt like Broncos country was catching strays. And it just gets thrown into, oh man, they screwed up. They messed up. They should have drafted Josh Allen, blah, blah, blah. That was a big hot topic through the weekend. And Mike Tomlin's, if he's going to be the coach or if he can, and Mason Rudolph even kind of jumped up and saying, because I think he's going to be a free agent next season. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I thought I read that or saw that somewhere. But his stock kind of jumped up because, did he make plays to win the game? No, but he didn't make plays to put them in situations to lose the game. I don't think. I felt like there was a lot of people maybe came away from this football game with a different look at Mason Rudolph. But I don't know. I don't like that whole situation in Pittsburgh. If I don't know if he's gonna be the guy. Like, Pittsburgh didn't have their best defensive player, arguably their best player. They've had issues in the wide receiver room all season long. And it's just it's crazy that they were even in the position they were to begin with. We've all talked about that story's out there, or that talking point's out there. So that's nothing new. So it was just a tough situation for Pittsburgh, because it's like you never felt like that they were actually going to do it, that there was something that was going to that there was a guy on the field that was going to flip it for him. So it is what it is. And Tomlin, after the game, got up, walked out, because somebody, I guess nobody wanted to ask a question. It was kind of weird the way it all went down, but nobody wanted to ask a question. And then they looked around, and then poor this, I don't know her name, but she decides to ask him, you got 1 year left on your contract, and he just turns around and walks out. That was funny. I felt like that was very funny. So that happened, and along with Buffalo winning, that turns into Kansas City v. Buffalo, because Houston is the lowest remaining seed, so they will go play Baltimore. So there you have it. The AFC is set, and Buffalo gets a rematch game, a comeuppance game. We got one at home. Pat Mahomes has to go on the road for the first time in his NFL career in the playoffs. Yes, that's when I heard that, I felt like I was like, oh wow, that is a very interesting story, or a stat, I guess, or note that he hasn't played a playoff game on the road. He like when I saw that, I was like shocked because, and are we, if that's the case, is he as good if he gets a win this week? If he wins, does that solidify him as one of the most dominant and one of the best playoff quarterbacks in potential history, or at least right now what we're seeing, because he finally got a road win? Because he's going to have to go to Baltimore too, right? He's going to have to go to Baltimore if Baltimore wins. So, and like I said on Monday, I don't think the AFC goes through Kansas City, but you're the potential of you going to have to be the man to be the man kind of a situation is there. But I didn't fully realize that Pat Mahomes is going to have to go on the road and do something that he hasn't done yet in his career and win 2 road games to go to the Super Bowl. That's pretty interesting. That's a big storyline right there, because all the stuff that's gotten thrown Pat's way, him and even me, like I said, I can't stand the guy. I understand and I can see what kind of football player he is and what he does on the football field as a and wins football games, but I can't absolutely stand him. Especially after this year, I've just lost. There may be a little bit of ounce of respect, because I do respect him as a football player, from the standpoint of the things he can do with the football. But how he gets up and complains and cries, I hated that with Brady. I understood it, because if you can get these officials to throw a flag for you, which they do, then go ahead and keep doing it. But it used to I used to get the same feeling I got with Brady, which until the end, I really couldn't stand Brady. But with Pat, the way he went off on the officials and all that stuff he did with the you usually give us a warning type of situation, with all that, like I said, that is what did me in with Pat Mahomes this year, and I just can't stand the freaking guy at all. At all. But that's the storyline for him. If he's got to go and do it, and if he does go win back-to-back playoff games on the road, then I guess, yeah, we're gonna have to put him in that category, and he is ultimately 100%, if he wasn't already, one of the greatest. I don't know. I'm gonna hold back on that. I'm gonna hold back. I don't know exactly where I'm gonna go with it, because I feel like you got to do it more. I'm trying to remember all, like, what Roethlisberger did going in and out of New England, having to go through New England. Peyton Manning, the same thing, whether he was in Indianapolis or here, not so much. I think here, 2015, did they have to win? Yeah, they had all their home games, because that's when New England screwed up and lost to, I think it was Miami, and then gave Denver the 1 seed. But then Manning here, because I know all those times he, as a Colt, that's a lot of the reasons why he didn't go to more Super Bowls, is because he always had to go to New England, and again, or to Pittsburgh. So, and then you look back on, if you want to go, let's pull out other quarterbacks, and Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers Aaron Rodgers loses home games. He would lose home games. So, but like the guys like John Elway, like there's this recently, this past week with I think Shannon Sharpe. It was like anniversaries for plays or years or things that happened. And they were showing John Elway and Shannon Sharpe and the Broncos it was 98 or 99 when they, maybe, I can't remember. It was one of the 2 years. I want to say that was the 98 year that, 98, 99, same freaking thing. In Pittsburgh, when he caught that 3rd and 9, 3rd and 6, and it was drawn up in there. Anyway, I remember that year, because the Broncos, they had a home game against Jacksonville. Then I feel like because that was that the AFC, was that the championship game? No, because they play no, that was a championship game because they had a home game against Jacksonville. Then they had to go to the Kansas City in the divisional round and beat Kansas City. And that was like a 17-0 game. And then they had to go to Pittsburgh. So yeah, like stuff like that is, and doing it over and over again, or just up until up until the point to where you finally make it and go to the Super Bowl and win one, winning in on the road. That is stuff that gets you grizzled. That's stuff that gets you respect in from a lot of these old guys, these old quarterbacks that have done it. So yeah, Pat Mahomes, if he does it, that starts him up there. But I feel like do we got to look at it like he's got to do more to be looked at look at his playoff career, because he hasn't had to leave Kansas City in the playoffs. That's crazy. I that's a cool story for me. Very, very interesting story for me. The Houston Baltimore game, that's all on Baltimore, right? I mean, we'll get into more of this stuff and I'll talk more about that storyline. I might look more into it, but I don't want to like start making that whole, I don't know why I went down that road. That was kind of silly because it was just like, I even felt wrong doing it, but it felt that you got Pat Mahomes and this great playoff record, and he's never had to do it away from Kansas City. Never had to do it away from Kansas City. Because you don't play the Super Bowl in Kansas City or at home. So anyway, but it's something to know that, can we really call him like what's his legacy if he can't win on the road in the playoffs, if he's had the luxury, and do we blame him for having the luxury, or we just say they were just that damn good? But anyway, that Baltimore Houston game, in my opinion, is all about Baltimore. If they want to come out and play with their food and let Houston hang around, then that's what they can do. If they want to come out and put the foot on the throat and just stomp them, I feel like they can. And it has nothing to do with Houston not deserving to be there, not prepared to be there, whatever. I'm sure DeMeco Ryans is going to have that squad ready to go. I'm sure CJ Stroud is going to be ready to go. I just think that Baltimore is that much better of a football team in general, and their situation is a lot better than the Houston Texans situation is. And where the Houston Texans are just getting there. The Houston Texans are putting this together this year. They've fought all odds to be where they are. Nobody would ever thought that this team would be there. Nobody ever thought that CJ Stroud would be doing what he's doing. So they have nothing to lose. They're just like the Green Bay Packers on the other side that's going to play San Francisco. They have nothing to lose. So it's all about Baltimore. I could say the same thing about the San Francisco Green Bay series. It's all about the one seeds. It's all about those teams. You got a perfect example of Dallas, the best home record in the regular season, the best. I mean, they were just standing on that, like, hey, we don't lose here. We don't lose here. Blah blah blah. You got to take these guys, these kind of teams seriously. I think the Cowboys are more screwed up than that, but could that be the case with the San Francisco 49ers and the Baltimore Ravens? It could be. It very well could be. I don't know if Houston is going to present the kind of issues for that Baltimore Raven defense that would have them worried. I just think that they'll have a plan for Stroud. He's a rookie quarterback, and he's going to do some rookie things in the playoffs situation because he's learning. He's a rookie. I mean, is he could this be Ben Roethlisberger-esque? Maybe, but these are all the things that you look back in history and see guys that are in this position that could, and then they failed or they didn't get to where they needed to because of these situations. And it's not a knock, and it's not like they aren't good enough, or like I said, they don't deserve to be there, because they do. They do deserve to be there. It's just the timing, you know. I just think that Baltimore team, what they did to Miami, what they did to San Francisco coming down the stretch, was pretty telling at where that football team is. And I'm not saying there's not a chance. There's plenty of chances. Like I said, there's a chance of Baltimore showing up and playing like crap, you know, taking this team lightly, looking through this team, however you want to call it. Somebody unfortunately getting hurt. There's those chances, that things that can happen. But if Baltimore shows up and plays football, I don't think they're going to be better than the or I don't think that Houston can beat them. That's what I'm trying to say. And like I said, I put the same thing like that. I put that same situation over there with the Packers and the 49ers. Same thing. If the chances of the Packers winning or the 49ers don't show up and blah, 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 the same thing. And I'm a Packer fan. Okay. I'm a Packer fan. See, there it is. There it is right there. I'm a Packer fan. I'll be drenched out. I'll be going for them, but I'm going into the same thing, knowing in my head, my expectations are, I want them to win. I hope they win. Do I think they will win? No. But I want them to win, and I hope they win. And I'm going to be rooting for them to win. I'm going to put money down just because if they win some money. I'm not going to put like $100 down. I'm more like a 5, 10, 15, 20 type of guy that likes to cash out when I've won my money back at least. And then I'm that kind of dude. So that's what I'm talking about. I'll probably be looking at like a spread money line situation. I'll throw them in a parlay. That's kind of what I'm going to do, kind of a deal. But again, if you want, I'm not the betting guy, but if you want to find a betting guy, go to e52asports.com. You can find everything you need there if you want to talk bets or see somebody about bets. But yeah, that's what I think. I just think that but one thing I do have a question as that I don't have in the Baltimore Houston game is Brock Purdy. There's a chance that the best quarterback in that game, I'm going to say this, the best quarterback in that game doesn't play for the 49ers, because I'm still out. I give Brock Purdy his props because of where he was drafted and what he had to overcome and get to what he's doing, whether it was because of opportunity and because of guys getting hurt or other guys not being ready and he was ready to go and he sees the opportunity. I'm just curious that if rubber meets the road, push comes to shove, whatever cliche you want to say, is he going to push the team forward from that position where he needs to be in the quarterback position, where you need a guy to push you forward? That's what the what I've seen from the quote unquote great ones of Peyton Manning, Brett Favre, John Elway, Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger. They have been able to push their team in the playoffs through situations that they didn't expect to be in from the position of being quarterback, and not handing it off to Christian McCaffrey or throwing it to Deebo Samuel or hoping Bosa comes off the edge or something crazy like that. It's going to be a tough hill to climb for the Packers. Hopefully if they can run the football, those tight ends could present a problem between Kraft and Musgraves, between they got 3 tight ends over there that can actually go out and get it. I'm spacing the other dude's name, but they got 3 of those guys. They got Dobbs, Watson. I don't know if Watson's going to be okay. The other guy, I got his name in my head. I want to say Smallwood, but it's not Smallwood. It's something like that. But you know who I'm talking about. And Aaron Jones, is Aaron Jones going to have a comeback game like he did? All that stuff needs to happen or could happen. all of that stuff can happen and needs to happen, could happen. The defense shows up and just does what it needs to do. Bend, don't break, make them kick field goals. You know, stuff like that. They do all of that. They're still going to need some help from San Francisco. They're still going to need some help from San Francisco. But I'm curious about what Brock Purdy looks like. I'm curious about if he's going to need to, if this is the game where he's going to need to push them forward from that position, or are we going to wait for the next one? Because I'm really curious in the next one. Because I don't know if I'm rooting for, and because I'm biased, this is just bias, for Tampa Bay to ruin everything Lions fans have been dreaming of this season. To just Baker, I am hoping for freaking Baker Mayfield, the dude that was running around cleaning toilets in the Cleveland Stadium, okay, in the commercials. The dude that was discarded by his team that he got drafted, just dumped on, goes to another place, gonna be the starter. Where'd he go? Did he go to Carolina? Because he didn't go to LA from there. Did he go? Was he in Carolina, or am I thinking of? Yeah, he was in I want to say he was in Carolina. Yeah. Then boom, discarded, goes to LA, destroys the Broncos. Did he win a playoff game last year, Baker Mayfield? No, did he lose? Shoot, I can't remember. Just a story of Baker Mayfield. And now he's on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They won that division. Think how bad that division is. That they won the division and they were in the playoffs. And he's got a chance to go and crap all over the Detroit Lions. And I want to go run through a wall for that coach. DMC, baby, I want to go run through a wall for him. Oh, God, he makes me so excited. I love him, man. I want to go run. I just want Baker to just be done. Just that's it. Take the souls from him. Just take the soul from DMC. Just yank it from him. That whole, and it's this is just like I said before. This is bias because I am a Packer fan. And I am just so disgusted with the Lions and in that Dallas Cowboy game. And there's a couple other games where they are that dude is a dirty dude and they do some dirty things. Okay. That's all I've noticed. And I'm not even really talking about that that hit that just I just got the thing now that said Tyler Higbee is out of of course he's out, but what I'm trying to say is he got a torn ACL because the dirty ass Lions. That's all I'm saying. He's already been caught, or he's already admitted to trying to cheat, trying to to confuse the Cowboys, and he's already been caught doing that once. Right. And then there's some other questionable calls throughout the season that's kind of like, now this is making a lot of sense here. Now I'm starting to see it. Now I'm starting to understand. Now I'm starting to get, the whole we're here together, man. You're gonna be here with me. I'm starting to see all that. I'm starting to see through it. Is all I'm saying. And I'm hoping that Baker Mayfield is just going to ruin all that. I got no football analysis to back that up. I got nothing that's telling you, or that I'm going to say that where I'm going to be like, this is where Tampa Bay is going to come in there. Todd Bowles is going to have a plan. He's going to come in there and he's going to stop what Jared he's going to stop what Jared Goff does. He's going to slow him down, run the ball, blah blah. He's going to do this. I have nothing. I got nothing for that. I might have something for you on Friday with that because I'm going to look into it a little bit more. But right now, I got nothing. All I'm saying is I'm hoping for Baker Mayfield just to go in there, ruin Detroit Lions lives because they're riding high. This is it. They're going to, and even if they get past that one, even if they get past this one, are you going to get the net? Like, what do we relax? All right. That's all I got to say. I know. I'm biased as hell. I am biased as hell. So we'll get into more NFL on Friday's show. That'll be a funky football show, probably. I don't know. I just came up with that. Maybe I'll ride with it. I don't know. I'm sure there's a funky football show out there somewhere too. So it's probably where I heard it from. It's probably why it popped into my head. But moving on, last night we got to see possibly could it be a preview of the NBA Finals as we saw Denver Nuggets, Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets take on finally Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, this game was is one of those games where we as fans just overreact to regular season games in the NBA. They do it in baseball as well. And what I mean by that, and I'm sure they do it in hockey, but they play with a puck and not a ball. So we don't really talk about hockey on this show, but I'm sure they do the same thing because they play multiple games. And you can always spot football fans that are basketball fans when they overreact to regular season games. And there's a lot of examples and there's a lot of things to do with expectations and stuff like that and understanding what an 82 game season looks like and what it goes through and how to react to it. I learned very, very young that not to get too upset about regular season games watching the Bulls. When I would first initially get upset when Michael Jordan and the Bulls would lose to a sorry Charlotte Hornets team back in the day with Muggsy Bogues, and just kind of like lose. And I'm kind of like, what are you doing? You guys suck. How are we losing to this team? And then they would come out and destroy the next team. Then you would have a classic matchup between the Knicks or the Cavs or something like that, and they would win, but then they would have a game where they would play a dog butt team again and lose. And then I finally started to understand, I think it was that 72 game season, 71, whatever it was back then, when the Nuggets beat the Bulls, and they were one of the only teams at that time. I think they were one of four at that time when the Nuggets beat them to even do that and they just smoked them. I remember it. Mahmoud was going off. It was crazy. And I remember watching Michael Jordan. I think he even said something after the game and blah, blah, blah. And it clicked there because it needed my favorite team at the time to beat my hometown favorite team. Or for that to switch, kind of like, and I was like, oh, wow. And then it kind of clicked, like, it's okay for a regular season game to do this. Like, that was okay. That's not going to hurt. And in the end, the Bulls won the championship, blah, blah, blah. It's history. But that game against the Nuggets that they lost, they got blown out. It didn't really matter at all in the grand scheme of things. Last night's game between the Philadelphia 76ers and the Denver Nuggets was another example of that kind of situation. What do we take from these games? How do we what do we do with these games? Um, how do we react to these games? And the way I look at it is, I just screwed this up. Oh, I'm sorry. Here we go. The way I look at it, here's a stat line. It was a 121, 126 final. This game was one of the most entertaining games I've seen, a regular season game that I've seen in a while. This is, as a fan of both teams, you hope to get a game like this, where it's back and forth, up and down, close. There was like over 20 something lead changes, I want to say, in it. It was absolutely ridiculous, fun basketball game. And as a fan for these kind of games, it sucks that my team lost, but the way I look at a regular season game is they didn't get blown out. Nobody got hurt. And they were in the game all the way until the end. With a team like the Denver Nuggets, that they just came off a NBA championship in which they dominated the entire playoffs. It was a domination. What they did in 7-game series to other teams, how they won those games. What, like, nobody really talks about 7 game. This basketball team is built, is the way it is going, the way it is now, the way all it is getting ready is for the playoffs. If you are a Denver Nuggets fan and you are still, your expectations from a regular season basketball game diminish after, if it's a loss, they diminish, then you don't truly understand what this Denver Nuggets squad is about. You don't truly understand it. And just what I suggest is just try to take it back and really look at the big picture of what's going on here. This team is, they're built for 7-game series. And I look, everything they do, how they play. Jamal Murray has been up and down this past the past couple weeks. And what I mean by up and down is going into the final quarter, he hasn't clicked into that Jamal playoff mode or whatever. I know we're not calling it that anymore, but that's what I'm relating it to. And I think it's just like you see those examples. I think there's something wrong with him. I think he's hurt, blown out, tired. He needs some rest. There's something going wrong on with him, because last night he was great all the way up until the fourth quarter. But games like last night, you look at the stat line. I watched the entire game, and this game was close all the way until a part. I'm going to show you in a second, a part in the fourth quarter, which is it's not a knock on Joker. It's not a knock on Murray. It's something to, it's more of a tip your hat to a guy that just went off and is a very good basketball player. Then we should be in trouble. Then Embiid outplayed Joker. Then Joker outplayed Embiid. Like if you come out of that game last night with those thoughts and those mindsets, you did not watch the basketball game, and you don't, and you're a ball watcher. Okay. You're a ball watcher and you don't understand the basketball game, and you got in your feelings because you think it's football, or and you want them to win every single game in every single situation, every single way. And you lost your brain, and you're having a bad day. There's no reason to have a bad day. None. This basketball team, you got to understand one thing. Okay. The Denver Nuggets have already won a championship. Okay. I already said that. The 76ers haven't even made it past the second round. And we're freaking out about, we don't have an answer for Joel. What if we don't have this? We don't have that. We would all love to see this matchup. And this is the matchup I was hoping we got last season in the finals. But it's going to take the 76ers and Joel Embiid to make that happen. The Nuggets are going to be there. That's my thought. That's the way I look at this season. The Nuggets are going to be there at the end. Are you? The 76ers going to be there? That's what we're hoping for as fans. If we want to see this, I would love to see this in a 7-game series. I would. Because I don't think Nikola is going to guard Embiid, and I don't say the Nuggets. I say I don't think Nikola is going to play defense the way he did that night against Embiid. The one thing that has evolved in Nikola Jokic's game this season, in my opinion, is his manipulation of the game in ways, and this is nothing that's new, but the way he's doing it is Doctor Strange level stuff. Shit. Sorry, I'm going to say it. It's some next level shit, okay? He's using what he needs to use to make the game easy and to make it better to win. I don't know, that did not make sense. What I like this, I'm not saying anything nobody's ever said, but the reason why I don't get pissed off if Nikola Jokic doesn't go bucket for bucket with Joel Embiid is because of the other things that Nikola Jokic does. It's because of I know, Matt, you're not saying anything new. I get it, but I think I have to remind you freaking people that think Embiid outplayed Joker last night, that think Embiid is scared or that Joker is scared of Embiid. Come on. He's not. There's no shot that Nikola Jokic is scared of Joel Embiid or anybody in this league. After what that guy did to LeBron James and Anthony Davis in a 4-game series in the playoffs, you're gonna suggest that Embiid outplayed him and Nikola's scared of him? Come on. The only difference in last night's game is Nikola, he had the shots at the end and he missed them. Joel made them. That is what you can separate the two in last night's game, in my opinion. And to say if Joel got over on Joker, that's the situation that he did. Joker makes one of those threes at the end, it's a different game. If Joel misses one, it's a different game. He made him, he missed him. That happens. But still, I don't think that was the worst thing that happened. I still don't think that was the that changed what happened last night in that game, or what was the downfall. Because Tobias Harris went off. Tobias Harris absolutely went off.
Harris with a turnaround. He's 7 for 9. He's hit all 4 of his free throws, and he's got 20 in this game. Here's Watson now. Leaves it. DeAndre Jordan.
Tobias just absolutely took over. You could see the Nuggets were on a bit of a run. Defensive play. Tobias Harris had 24 points and got a couple of like 4 or 5 assists. You know, Marcus Morris is even banging threes. Tobias Harris got this team going. And from about that little minute there, that about 10-minute time frame, when Joel went out, I want to say it was kind of right here. No, that went out. I had it queued up. Here we go. So Tobias is going to come down and go to work. Just a great shot here. He'll hit a 3, you know, and he went on. I think he scored, I want to say 6 or 8 points in a row that really brought back the Sixers, really brought them back. And that was the turning point. You know, that could have been. So here we are. Let's go here. Let's talk how basketball games go. Okay, right here. And then okay, another thing too is we can't forget how good Embiid is shooting the basketball. He's freaking really good. The free throw line in around the top of the key perimeter, or not perimeter, around the top of the key, about the nail, top of the key area. it's money for him. So it's crazy to watch that. But let's just say here, we got 3 minutes here. Let's say if MPJ comes around. So here, boom, he misses this one. He makes that one. That was a 2. He misses those a couple threes down here. Let's see if we can see him. That was a dirty block on Batum too, man. That was one of those momentum killers. Let's say Porter Jr. bangs that one home, right? Boom. Bangs that one home. That was the one that kind of got him a little bit going. Let's say he goes on a run. MPJ goes on a run and hits 2 or 3 more. It's the same thing that Tobias Harris just did. That's what happens in basketball games. Runs. I don't know how many people that I talk to or that I get with or that just don't understand the game of runs. And basketball is the ultimate game of runs. Tobias Harris got on a run last night. The Nuggets couldn't match that. They couldn't get that going. That's all that happened. Is there some issues with Murray? I think there is. I think he's hurt. I think there's something going on with him. Do I think Joker needs to step up his game and pick up his jock and go at Embiid and take over the game? He kind of tried. He just missed the shots. Like, you're not going to bully ball Joel Embiid. You're not going to. This isn't 1980s. I would love it for it to be nice. I would love it, but it's not. And you like, he missed the shots. Joel didn't. Joel made a handful of buckets in front of Nikola Jokic's face, but he didn't outplay him. He just made the shots. The shots go in or they don't. It wasn't that Joel Embiid was not ball on ball or faced up on Joker. Maybe 2 or 3 times out of that game. Joker was on Joel more than Joel was on Joker one-on-one. You're not going to that and saying, you're not going to tell me that Joel Embiid outplayed Nikola Jokic after watching that game last night. He made more shots than him because he probably took more shots than him. You know what else happened last night too? On Nikola Jokic's watch that I don't know if anybody really talked about today. I haven't really watched the shows today, the sports entertainment programming, but they stopped his rebounding streak. Joel was on a 30 and 10 rebounding streak. That stopped. He had 7 last night. The Nuggets had 16 offensive rebounds last night. 16 offensive rebounds. They were destroying Joel on the glass. You know why? Because Joel was not down on the glass. Joel was not going to the boards. He had 7 rebounds. A dude that big. Yeah, I know he scored 40. I know he got the assist, but that the rebounds, like, that's automatic. That's all I'm saying. Like, you're gonna say he was outplayed. Nikola Jokic was outplayed by him, but Joel's rebounding streak was stopped, and rebounding is an effort stat, and the effort that Nikola Jokic put in to get his rebounds, whether they were his own or not, that's we're gonna say Embiid outplayed him. Okay, fine, sure. We're going to say that Joker's afraid of Embiid. Okay, sure. If that's what it is in your world, I hope the snow cones aren't yellow. That's all I'm saying. Ball watchers, my God. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's show. I enjoy, like, I know I feel like I come off like elitist and whiny or whatever, but there's just, you're watching a team when it comes to basketball play an 82 game season. This team is getting prepared for the playoffs. I would love to push sleep or I mean, it's not Madden where I can hit, simulate regular season to get to the playoffs. I wish we could do that. I bet you I wish some of them could. The players could. I bet you. When teams get to the status of the Denver Nuggets and they have the right people in place, whether it comes to the coaches or it comes to the players on the court, they got him. Nicola's the right guy. Kroenke's the right guy. Booth's the right guy. Malone's the right freaking guy. Murray's the right guy. He's not right now, but he's the right guy. They have the right guys in place. Aaron Gordon's the right guy. KCP, I can keep going, and they're bringing these young guys along. They're preparing for the regular. They're preparing for the postseason. Don't let a game in January destroy or kill your vibe, kill your expectations of this basketball team because they lost to the it sucks that they lose to that team. I don't want to lose to the Sixers, but you know what? What have the Sixers done? They haven't done jack shit in the playoffs. Doesn't even matter. The Nuggets own teams like the Clippers, like the Lakers. That's what I care more about. If we're talking about regular season goals, we win the Lakers games, win the Clipper games, right? I don't know. I don't know what else. That's as far as regular season goes. Those would be my. Those are the teams I want to beat. And hope I get to watch good games when I get to see a Philly and Denver matchup with Nikola and Embiid, and hope I get to see good game. But there's no, and I wouldn't even flip it back and say that Joker outplayed Embiid. I wouldn't. If it was the stat, like just you're looking at the stats. You're looking at the stats. That's going to do it for me today. Remember, if you want to follow us, 5280 Sports Radio on X or Twitter, Matt Mascarenas1 on X or Twitter, IG's House Dad Matt. Follow, go check us out on the website, e5280sports.com. All the good stuff there. I will come back on Friday, Funky Friday football, where I will get a deeper dive into the games this weekend. See if I can put some football reasoning behind why I think Tampa Bay will beat Detroit. I'll find something. But other than that, y'all have a good day, night, morning. Thank you for tuning in.